Hi guys, finally here I am presenting myself in the first ever video of this channel, and that is by overcoming my fear of failure. So, what is this fear exactly? How does one overcome this fear? And why do we even have to go through this fear in the first place? So, to answer all these questions, I would like to take you guys to the journey of starting this particular channel. So, yeah, where do we start, guys? I think it was around 2 months ago, the idea of becoming a YouTuber has first popped up in my mind. And ever since that moment, I've been very curious about the topic I'm going to choose for my first video. So, with that excitement, I started pondering over some keywords and key phrases which, when dwelled upon into their depths, could give rise to potentially insightful content. Obviously, right? So, yeah, in that search, I happened to be struck by this one word which never left my mind. I mean, I was completely blown away that this word or this particular subject has passed through my thoughts. So I was very confident with the topic I chose, and I started shooting some videos, trial videos, did some editing, and finally, one certain day, I was ready with the final output. I was ready with the video. So that day, I was going to upload, and as I was about to upload the video into the channel, something happened, guys. Something strange happened. So my mind has started to confront me with these questions, and those questions have almost made me step back from starting this channel, or should I say, upload that video. So, what are these questions exactly that almost made me change my decision? So, it all started with this one question, guys. So, that question was, what happens after I upload the video? And this question, my mind was posing me just before I was about to upload the video. So it did not stop there. That question kind of triggered this chain reaction, and more questions followed. Like the questions were, what if the video doesn't work out? What about the people who watch the video? Will they like it? Will they be able to will they be able to relate to what I'm trying to convey? And like, am I even good enough to do this? That was the question after that. Am I even good enough to make it here in the YouTube? So after that, the final one was like, yeah, what if I fail? What if I fail, and what about my friends, family, or the people who generally know me will think about me when everything goes down the hill? And that was it, guys. After all these questions, I was done. I just took a brief pause, and that made me rethink all these decisions I've been taking since the moment I've got this idea of doing this. I mean, starting this channel. So, what happened is, in that moment, I realized something. All these questions which my mind was posing is kind of fear of failure. This is exactly how fear of failure feels like. That's what I've understood. And then I've decided that time that I'm going to study this fear. I'm going to understand this fear, because until unless I understand and overcome this fear, I felt I won't be able to upload the video, or I won't be able to start this. So yeah, this was around 1 month ago, guys. And in the process, I started analyzing, understanding this fear by trying to scrutinize the question pattern which my mind was giving to me. So look at the first question, for example. What happens after I upload the video, right? So when I looked at this question, I understood this is more of thinking about the result or worrying about the outcome, right? That's the problem number one. And the third or fourth question was, am I good enough to do it, right? So that was self-doubt, obviously. Get it? So that's problem number two. And third problem, the final nail in the coffin, was fear of judgment, which most of us kind of have gone through, right? That's when I was thinking about what people who know me will think about me when I fuck up, when I mess it up. That's problem number three. And that's when I realized these are the three problems with our mindset, or the way we think, the way our thought patterns are, established in our mind or brain, that kind of lead to this fear. That these problems kind of amalgamate into this fear of failure. That's what I've understood after analyzing this. So then I had an epiphany in that moment when I understood this. If I'm going through this when I want to start this YouTube channel, what about the people, the general people? Will they go through this, whatever, when they're in this moment? when they want to do something badly, but then they couldn't do it because they're afraid that they might mess up, or they're afraid that people are going to judge them as a failure, or they might doubt themselves in this process. All these problems which we just discussed. So if you were ever in this moment where you wanted to do something very badly, and it doesn't have to be something like starting this YouTube channel or starting a business or starting a startup. It doesn't have to be some big decision you're taking in life, some completely new thing which you want to do. It can be something like a daily day-to-day action. It might be your first time, something like giving a compliment to a stranger, talking to strangers, or like giving a speech or a performance on stage, or even approaching the person you like. It can be anything, literally. But if you were afraid that you might mess up and you stopped, you did not even try attempting it, then I hope this video kind of reminds you of the person you were, where when you did not even have these fears, you would just do it if you want to do it. So whatever I'm going to talk about, the solution, or whatever I'm going to talk about in this video from this point of time, I'm not going to say something new, something which you already didn't know. In fact, I'm going to remind you about yourself, which you might have forgot. The version of yourself that didn't know these fears, didn't know how to, you were just, you could do it. So let's start, guys. Let's start with problem number 1, thinking about the result or worrying about the outcome. I know most of you might be nodding your head, thinking that, we all read this quote which says, don't think about the result, just focus on the process, right? But have you ever wondered, why do we even worry about the result or the outcome in the first place? Why do we even think about it in the first place? Sometimes even when we enjoy the process, we still think about the result or worry about the outcome in the midway, right? Why does this happen exactly? So I've asked this question to myself because I've been there in the same moment like all of you guys. So then I got the answer that we humans have this tendency to let the outcomes of our actions dictate our state of mind. So we let success elevate us and failure weigh us down. And this happens because we kind of seek pleasure in success, and because of this, failure becomes a source of our pain or suffering. So what happens when you have this kind of mindset or perspective? It's very simple. See, our mind or our brain is kind of designed in such a way that as a default, it tries to put you in a comfortable and safe position always. Okay, that's why we usually feel lazy, or you get what I'm saying. So when you are seeing failure as something negative, something which gives you pain or suffering, obviously your mind will try everything in its power to make you avoid this particular action, which has probability that you might fail, which has good amount of chance that you will fail or you will go through that pain. So your mind the mind efforts to make you avoid it or evade from doing it is this fear of failure, is those thoughts or the noise which makes by asking questions to you. So how do you deal with this? It's very simple, guys. We have to change the way we see failure. I know most of you might be thinking, yes, I see failure as learning opportunity, but do we really? In fact, it's better to change the definition of failure first of all. That's better, I guess. It's like, trying to hit at the root cause of this. Like we all see failure as typically when you want to do something. Let's say you're playing a game and you couldn't reach the expectations of the rules of the game, how you win it, or you could not reach expectations of yourself on your performance. And that's when you consider that, okay, I did not do well, and you start banging your head to the wall by thinking or asking yourself, why did I lose, right? Instead of that, consider failure as someone who wants to do something but couldn't do it because of this fear of failure, or fear of judgment, or self-doubt, or any other lame reason. If you did not even try that first attempt because of any lame reason, then consider that as failure. But if you tried, in spite of having all these things in your mind, if you tried, consider that a win. And in fact, even if you typically fail, learn from it. Ask yourself this one question: how do I get better? No matter even if you lose or win, don't think, why did I lose? Just ask yourself always one particular question, and that question is, how do I get better? How do I enjoy this more? And that's how you love the game, you love what you're doing, you'll enjoy it, and you'll get better, and you'll kind of master it, man. That's what happens. So I hope you understood. The main thing which we need to deal with this problem is you need that shift in mindset. Don't look at failure as something negative. I mean, after all, failures are the moments that have shaped you into the person you are today, right? It's not the moments of success. So yeah, you should actually see failure as more positive thing than success. I mean, in my view. So let's go into the problem number 2, which is self-doubt. And as the word itself says, it's doubting yourself, right? And when do you doubt something? Isn't it when you have an uncertain answer for a particular question in your mind? And now it's a question here. The question is, am I good enough to do this? Or even better, in an elaborated sense, am I good enough to succeed at this? That was my question to myself, right? So obviously, again, when we are here, again, we are thinking of the outcome, success or failure. Again, we need that mindset shift. But let's say, practically speaking, when you're trying something for the first time, new thing, that too, and could be a difficult thing since it's first time, there is a good number of chance that you're going to typically fail, typically. But what's so wrong with that? Obviously, that's how you're going to learn, right? That's how you start something and learn, and then you get better. So that all these teachings you've learned from your failures, that's eventually add up, and put you in a place where you're going to make it big, win, right? That's what happens. So don't doubt yourself. Obviously, you might not be the best in your first attempt. And that might happen sometimes when you prepare very well for that first attempt. But yeah, usually there is a good chance that you might not, be the perfect in whatever be perfect in what you're trying for the first time. For example, if you take me, this is my first video, right? So I'm pretty sure I might have made some grammatical errors, good number of places where I could have done much better. For example, articulating my thoughts well, or maybe the way I'm shooting the video, the background or video editing, lighting, n number of things where I could have done much better, and I know that. But I thought first I should try, and that's when I'm going to learn. So same applies for anything which you want to do in life. So don't doubt yourself. Take that leap of faith in yourself. Believe in yourself delusionally that if I keep trying, when you feel whatever you want to do is ethically right, if you have correct answer for why do you want to do it, something which is sensible, and go do it. Just don't think, just go and do it. You will make it one day there. So yeah, the final nail in the coffin, guys. Now there comes the problem number 3, fear of judgment, which most of us have been through, and I hope most of you who are watching this video have already overcome this fear. But if not, let me just tell you something about reality, guys. Most of us, including me, are occupied with our mind, attached to our mind all the time. If not all the time, most of the time. It takes good amount of wisdom and practice to actually detach from your mind and not get occupied with the thoughts and problems that your mind is creating in the real time, right? Most of us are busy with thinking and fighting our problems in our mind all the time. So do you think really someone has time to judge you or think about you? I mean, even if they did take some time out to judge you or pass some positive or negative comments or judgments on you, that means you're actually more important to them than their own life, right? They're giving importance to your life than their own life. And feel happy for that, actually. It's a good thing, right? And in fact, these positive or negative comments which you might get from people are in fact outcomes, right? As the word outcome says it, it's something that is coming from an area which is outside your control. And as I told before, don't get swayed by any outcome. Don't get swayed. Save and value your inner peace and your state of mind, and do what you do, focus on the process and just do it. Okay? Just don't care. So I told you I'm going to remind you of your version which could deal with these problems. In fact, never even cared about these problems, right? It is you when you were 3 or 4 years old. Let's say that was the first time when you could finish that first running race towards your mom's arms to hug her, right? That was the first day or first time you could run. So that did not happen overnight, right? It was not the first attempt that you could finish your first run, right? You started with crawling, then you could stand up on your feet, and one day you could land those firm steps and walk. And finally, one fine day, you could run. And in this process, didn't you fail? Didn't you fall down to the ground? You did, right? You did fall down to the ground. But did you consider that as a failure, and were you afraid that people are going to label you as a failure? Or were you, before even that, did you fear that you're going to fail anyway? Did you fear that? Did you doubt yourself that you're going to fall down? You're never going to make it like how your parents or whoever you're going to see. Obviously, you did not know what is running exactly, but you could see that people could run or walk, and you wanted to do it, and you were so much in a belief or delusion that you could do it no matter what, right? I mean, think about it. If you are afraid that you might fail, if you are afraid that you might fall down and never going to make it to run, right? Then humanity would have been struck at the stage of crawling. We would have still been four-legged animal, right? So, yeah, let that sink in for a moment. Then I just understood when I thought about this that fear of failure, which is kind of combination of all these things, all these three mindsets or thought patterns which you have, the three problems which we have discussed, kind of stops you from realizing your own potential. So yeah, next time when you want to do something, don't think about it, just do it. Okay, that's all, guys. I hope I made my point. Yeah, I kind of took some longer duration to talk about all this. I'll try to make it much more better if possible. So yeah, before I leave you, wait, yeah, one thing. So before I leave you, I want to ask you one question, guys. If you have listened to whatever I've told until now, if you're still here, after listening to all this, what is it that is still stopping you from what you want to do? Huh? I hope you do it.